Over the last few weeks on EastEnders, we've seen the fallout from Joel's behaviour as he became influenced by a toxic online world.
You'll end up on the sex offenders register.
You stood up against him, made people realise that it is not okay.
Cut there. Checking that.
Our storyline got me thinking. It's a world I know almost nothing about, so I've enlisted the help of Ellie and Max. Together we want to see what the future holds for kids like Joel.
The category is men.
Online, there's so many different voices. I find it difficult to know what's right and what is wrong.
You see, billies aren't evil.
We'll meet people tackling misogyny.
Misguided form of discipline. By branding anyone as evil, you completely remove any possible solution.
And hear from those who are drawn into that world.
Even though consciously you're thinking, oh yeah, this is just banter, you're actually finding yourself reinforcing those ideas.
We're investigating a corner of the internet where male frustration can harden into anger. It's called the Manosphere.
You won't believe this was me 3 weeks ago.
Girls are distractions.
Straight up. Women are only nice to you if you don't talk to them.
20% of men get all the women.
I own everything about you.
That's the way to talk to birds, I'm telling you.
Women should not vote?
Yeah, I've been saying that forever.
One drunk man is more intelligent than 3 women with PhDs.
You're 25 years old, you need children.
The problem with women is they think they're equal to men, when they're a much lower value species.
Working on this storyline has opened my eyes.
Have to assert your dominance.
I've learned a lot.
This stuff messes with your head. We spoke about being respectful to women, not watching these hateful, violent videos.
And as uncomfortable as it is, I want to learn more.
No one respects you. No one, you know that. Your wife leaves you, and now you're stuck with some low-value female like her.
Our story is fiction.
Do you know how that feels? Knowing that everyone hates you just for being yourself.
But what's the reality?
I'm very happy with that.
Right, who's having a coffee? I'm thrilled that we're doing this. It's been a really good storyline. I think it's massively important because what we do in our show, in soap, it opens up conversation. It becomes a water cooler moment. Darling? Yeah? Are you hungry?
Yeah. My girls are teenagers now, and I do think a lot about the attitudes they have to face.
As a parent, you know, I want to know what their world is going to look like if we're not going to do something about some of the more toxic elements in our society.
You, my brother, have to assert your dominance. Teach them to be afraid of us.
This is my brother, Joe. He's a year and a bit older than me. And I'm better at football than him. Mate. Hey!
In my storyline, Drake Zagan is a sort of Andrew Tate-esque character. And I don't know if you remember when we had an assembly at school about Andrew Tate.
I don't think I'd actually heard of him before the assembly,
really?
But I just knew that it was like he was having a massive impact.
And a lot of it, I think, we just saw as banter.
You tend to go along with the crowd, don't you?
People don't want to be the odd one out because then you get bullied, then you get targeted. So if everyone's sitting around in the toilet watching Andrew Tate videos and laughing, you're gonna laugh.
Yeah.
For me, it stopped at banter. For Joel, it was something else. The Manosphere introduced him to misogyny.
Girls these days don't want flowers or chocolate.
And that had a devastating effect on the girls around him. What hit am I recently deleted?
Is that a warning?
There's always been misogyny, but now with social media and smartphones, you can see how easy it is for young people to get exposed to this stuff. I mean, after all, I don't know many teenagers who don't have a smartphone. It's like a rite of passage.
I was 13, I think it was my 13th birthday. I got a smartphone. I literally thought I was the most grown-up person in the entire world. I don't think I really understood how I could become vulnerable, how people could exploit me.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Me and Ellie are meeting 22-year-old Roxy. She's experienced the effects of misogyny firsthand.
I was 13 when it started and the guys involved were 17, so there was already quite a big power imbalance in that relationship, and I didn't know the guy when he reached out to me. He was like this very popular guy at school, very attractive, everyone knew who he was. I'd never spoken to him before, and I was incredibly flattered. I remember the girls around me in my year group being like impressed as well, like it helped my status in my year group too, just the fact that he was messaging me. And it just made me feel amazing, to be honest. It was like a validation boost that I needed at the time. And he was like almost immediately asking me to send him photos. When I would say no and not send him photos, he wouldn't text me in the evenings. And then it was like, I found that really hard. It felt like a bit of a punch. And it sounds so silly when you say it. I don't know.
It doesn't sound silly. It doesn't. It's completely understandable.
But it was very addictive. And you know, and then he would say that, like, if I didn't send him what he wanted, he'd have to tell everyone at school how frigid I was.
Frigid was the biggest thing as well.
Yeah.
Growing up, it's so manipulative because you don't want to seem frigid to anybody else. So then when you get threatened with it, you're like, no, I'll do it. Yeah.
I think I was trying to persuade myself that sending a photo could be empowering. Eventually, I couldn't handle it anymore. It was a cycle of like going to bed feeling terrible. I felt disgusting. And then I got a message from another guy in his year a couple of weeks later. He asked me to send him photos. I ignored that, and then he sent me 4 photos he already had of me. From the first guy. They'd been playing top trumps with them.
What was your first thought when you got those photos?
I can't even, there isn't even like a metaphor I can use to explain what it felt like. It literally did feel like everything just came crashing down. This guy completely owned me from that moment, because the idea of anyone finding out and getting those photos, just that couldn't happen. I would do anything to stop that happening. Then I got messages a week later sending the photos back to me, so I knew they were out. I literally watched them spread rapidly through school. So after a couple of weeks, like everyone knew, everyone had them. My friends stopped speaking to me. Still, I didn't tell my parents, but obviously everyone knew, so the school found out, and they called my mum in. And they said, like, we know Roxy's been sending photos to boys.
Roxy's been sending photos to boys?
Yeah, and I was punished for breaking their tech code of conduct. Nothing happened to the boys. In the next 3 years of my teenage years, I couldn't look in a mirror because I was so disgusted by myself. If I'd gone for help and just spoken to one person, then it could have stopped. It would have saved me and my mum, like, years of just wasted time and pain. That's the saddest part for me, is that waste of years.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was the only person who was stupid enough, who had been stupid enough to end up in that situation.
That idea of shame, that's how you are terrorised.
Because that's the thing that keeps you quiet and alone and isolated. And like, when I did start speaking up about what happened to me more publicly, I got hundreds of messages from people saying that, like, not necessarily the same thing, but whatever people's experiences had been, it was the shame that was that common thread that kept everyone quiet, everyone alone. It was like, that is crazy that there are all these kids sat in their rooms feeling like it's their fault and that they're the only person. And it's the shame, I think, that really
Are there any key things that you think need to change?
I think there are so many things that need to change, but I think the thing that will have the biggest impact now is talking about this stuff openly. That's basically why I started Behind Our Screens. I felt like people weren't really listening to young people. So what I wanted to do was build a platform that would get young people talking about this stuff and really amplify their voices so that, like, parents listen, teachers listen, government listens. Like, you know, young people know what it's like to grow up online. We should be asking them and encouraging them to speak about it. So we've been at festivals this year, having a stall, getting young people in, getting them writing their postcards to their younger self with the one thing they wish they'd known. They come into our tent and we get them talking about this stuff completely, like, openly.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I had seen that at a festival, that would have made a huge difference to me. Oh my gosh, to think that this stuff could even be spoken about out loud would have changed my life.
Seeing you come out of such an awful, traumatic experience to thrive and really encourage other young people, I think it is the most incredible work that you're doing. I'm just grateful.
I actually can't tell you how much that means, because obviously it doesn't get any easier. It's still like every time it's slightly like...
Can't be easy.
But thank you.
I think she's an amazing, courageous woman. We need more of that.
She's outstanding for getting her voice and just helping so many young people. It's absolutely amazing.
Roxy's a total inspiration. But what's getting boys to this point where they think this behaviour is okay? And what is it about this darker online world that seems so attractive? Harriet is a psychologist who studies online misogyny and the Manosphere.
The Manosphere is a whole collection of blogs, influencers, forums where extremists advocate for the idea that men are superior over women and women ought to be subordinated to them.
If you want to be treated with more respect, then listen to this guy, Drake Zagan. He's got 2 million followers.
How do you get hold of a mind to that degree where a boy will want to buy into that?
A lot of the rhetoric within the Manosphere is creating this idea that women are the villains, that like anything that boys might be experiencing in their lives that are difficult can be blamed on women. And I think often they're targeting boys at an extremely vulnerable developmental stage. So just when they're about to start dating or want to start dating for the first time. You know, that's a terrible time for everyone. But they can say to them, like, look, all this rejection you're experiencing, all these feelings of humiliation and embarrassment, you can blame them on women. And when you're in these online spaces, it can feel like everyone agrees with these views. The Manosphere didn't invent misogyny, it's been with us for hundreds of years, but we are seeing this worrying increase. So, for example, one primary school teacher said she'd had a conversation with a little boy who told her that it was okay to hurt women because Andrew Tate does it.
Wow. That's quite shocking, all of that. Do you think that boys intentionally go looking for this misogynistic material?
Some boys might go looking for it, but we know that 69% of teenage boys between the ages of 11 and 14 have been served content that's negative about women and girls without ever having searched for it.
So, for instance, are boys looking for other types of content and then being led down a pathway to something else?
There is a suggestion that there's certain types of gateway content, so for example gaming or fitness or self-help, where boys can look for that type of content and then find their way to online misogyny through that gateway content.
But how easy is it to stumble across this stuff? I've chosen to see for myself on TikTok, one of the hottest social media apps amongst teenagers. At the tender age of 55, I'm signing up as a 14-year-old boy.
So what we can try and do is simulate the viewing behaviour of a teenage boy, so we can pause on anything that we think a teenage boy might be interested in.
Straight away, it's relentless. A stream of memes giving advice and telling me what I can do to be better by telling me all the things I'm doing wrong. I can feel like it's slowly building up towards anger. It's not quite doing it in your face immediately, but it's that creeping kind of influence. I can sort of palpably feel it. I felt like I was at the top of a slippery slope. 14 years old, you want to have a little bit of fun. Next thing you know, you're down some dungeon. We've run the simulation a few times, watching, liking and saving content that a 14-year-old boy might. And it didn't take long.
Three signs that girl is playing you, gang. I ain't gonna lie.
When men hear this, we're saying, okay, so you want to run around and sleep with everybody. You want to be and then you want
yes, to pick up that's Andrew Tate.
No, I don't want to do that.
Recommended to us in less than 40 minutes. Once we were in that world, signed up as a 14-year-old, we had access to some pretty dark content.
she's not going to be attracted to that guy.
If he's flirting with the girl, he's not going to be super worried if he oversteps the line a little bit.
Women will literally choose attention over true love.
About a female that doesn't...
This stuff really frightens me.
A girl who's been by 35 dudes.
I can't understand why some young men would get involved in all that. But then, I'm not a young man.
Nice to meet you. What's your name again? Josh.
Nice to meet you.
So Max is going to join me to meet Will and 15-year-old Josh. Both talk openly about falling for the lure of the manosphere.
For me, I think it started when I was 12, when that sort of, well, what you'd label as manosphere content started appearing on my feed. You know, I think there are aspects of it that did positively affect my life and, you know, made me think about my health and my future and my career. But at the same time, when you're surrounded in that space, because you're watching that content, slowly and slowly, even though consciously you're thinking, oh yeah, this is a bit of a joke, this is just banter, you're actually finding yourself reinforcing those ideas.
For me, at a similar time, I came across Andrew Tate and these kind of videos. My initial response was, this is a joke. And then it's, okay, this guy's got loads of money, this looks very appealing. You with your friends at school, did you sort of influence each other? Because with my character, you see how Joel pushes his views on other people because he wants to feel validated.
It's quite interesting because I still have friends I could call up and text right now and I'm still good mates with, but I'm still so far into this.
Yeah.
And they'll still be justifying it, they'll still be justifying Tate's actions.
And Will?
A masculinity influencer for me became a father figure when I was 22. I got hooked. I remember at that time, there's this sense of what a successful man is that is definitely portrayed online and exacerbated by all the imaging and messaging online, right? Of having big muscles, having a girlfriend, a partner, someone that likes me, having a successful job and wealth, and I wasn't matching up to that standard.
Did that play into your feelings of whether or not you could establish relationships with women?
It played into how I viewed feminism. It was a very us versus them.
Hostile.
Very hostile world. And it felt like when I left the house, it's like, oh, there's someone, a feminist is going to be out to get me.
What actually brought you through and out of that manosphere?
I joined a support group. And in this kind of open and non-judgmental space, slowly but surely it became clear that the actual world is so different to the online world.
Yeah.
And I started to gain perspective around what it meant to be a man, around my place in society, around what success means. And it was a long, drawn-out process.
For you, Josh, what was that point of realisation?
It's not a light bulb moment. We can't expect young boys and men to just boom, snap, gone. Like, it's not realistic. And it really comes from conversation. It's framed so much like these influencers are your path to success. But they aren't. They don't care about your success.
They care about you.
They don't care about you.
You're a number on a screen.
Their entire business model and their entire success comes from this entire generation of young boys not being successful and feeling insecure. They are profiting off a generation of young boys' insecurity.
Yeah, so this is so much more than the online world. You know, the broader conversation that I think needs to happen is how do we relate to boys, men, and masculinity, full stop?
Yeah.
And if we can start having that conversation, that's the one that's going to be driving us forward to progress, to solutions.
Meeting these guys was nothing like what I expected. It's humanised the people that get sucked in for me. It's humanised them. They're vulnerable people. We're all vulnerable people.
Maybe even Joel.
You are a revolting, arrogant, disgusting little pervert!
I've seen Joel as a villain as soon as I got the scripts.
Something wrong with me.
But I don't think he was always. Once he was just a young boy in school trying to figure things out, what messages to listen to and what not. And he was led down the wrong path.
First one comes to your head. The category is men.
These guys are going into schools across the country to help young people make sense of those messages.
Whatsoever.
With our workshops, we aim to have conversations about what masculinity is, what expectation there are on men, what expectation there are on boys.
Masculine, beard, sleep.
Them being able to gain different perspectives on it now is how they're gonna be able to build their own version of what it means to be a man. What's that stereotype? What is it what society says of how men should be? What are they?
To be like super masculine and always be like tough and strong.
But obviously, you don't have to follow these stereotypes. It's okay to cry if you're a man. It's okay to show emotions.
Could we make a different list? Do you have, like, in your mind, if I had to make a list of how a man should be, what would it be?
Maybe be caring.
Caring. Right, why do you think men should be caring?
If people are cared for, sometimes they might feel better about themselves. So it's about like kind of having a positive impact on the world.
Online, there's so many different voices telling you to do this and do that. I find it difficult to know what is right and what is wrong. And I just want to know how you guys feel about that and how you navigate yourselves.
There are like many people that influence you into believing one thing, and you don't think about other perspectives. First perspective you see is like kind of like influences your idea.
And the algorithm will give you more content similar, right?
Yeah. You've got to think, like, how is this going to benefit me, and can it benefit me even?
Why have we got bum on there?
There's loads of confusion out there.
What's bum doing there, and why are we laughing about
But there are voices like those in there trying to guide boys and young men into a more positive direction.
This logic that men have to be scary to be seen as masculine.
No human being can endlessly be strong.
I just wanted to say that I love you. Maybe we need to find more common ground or empathy.
Boys will be what we teach them to be.
No one could believe what had happened. Headlines don't happen to friends.
Sam Brown recently went viral with his poem, Silly Billy.
2 years later, Billy were at a party and this girl she was drunk out her mind, and Billy felt silly, so Billy flicked off the lights because he wanted to. And what was she gonna do? Screaming, there's one of me and none of you.
I'm off to Birmingham with Ellie to attend my first ever poetry night.
Is that they were acting like the fact that they hadn't called their friends out made them a bad person. And I just don't think morality is that simple.
My ultimate goal is that there will be somebody on social media who is going through a tough time, and there will be a video of someone telling them that what they need to do is work harder or hate women, or these are the reasons why your problems are happening. And then they'll scroll down and then they'll see a clip of me essentially turning around and being like, mate, your life's not purposeless. I want a gentler social media. And I think that might turn into a slightly gentler world. You see, it's this ignorance around anomalies, this it wouldn't happen to me mentality which causes the problem. Because everyone wants to think that one of their boys would never make their misogyny violent, but every now and then a young boy slips and a young girl lies broken for every...
What inspired you to do these topics through poetry?
I kept on speaking to women in my life, finding out more and more of the horrible stuff that had happened to them. And I realised that when they say every woman has a story, pretty much every woman has a story, and if every woman has a story and you know those women, then there's a good chance that a lot of the men that you know, or a few of the men that you know, or one of the men that you know is causing that problem. One of the main things that was kind of the contentious topic was this line, Billies aren't evil. You see, Billies aren't evil. They're failures of a system, a misguided form of discipline. My school had discipline. When I was at school, we used to walk down the hall saying the most misogynistic, and a teacher would come over and tell us to tuck our shirts in. You see, discipline, it works, it reinforces. By the time I was in upper sixth, I knew 4 guys with loose shirts and 6 who had sexually assaulted. The poem went crazy on social media. There was a lot of people saying, I'd never do something like that. They are evil, right? And I think that by branding anyone as evil, what you do is you completely remove any possible solution. It's like, well, he was evil. He was always going to do that. My belief in Billies aren't evil comes from the fact that I don't think that this person thought about doing this when they were 9 years old. I don't think they would have ever done it when they were 10 years old. So like, at some point, something had to happen. And we're seeing a rise in it. So it has to be at the heart of some societal problem, something that we can fix. I remember being like 16, 17, and people would be like, it's just a joke, man, it's just a joke. It's not. These cannot be jokes anymore. We have lost the right to joke about 100%. This. Billies aren't evil. They're failures of a system, a misguided form of discipline. So guys, please be disciplined. Walk those halls, shirts flying. But when you're sat at the pub or on your Xbox parties and you think your misogyny is tongue in cheek, statistically, one of your boys ain't
joking. Thank you.
So important. I mean, if you don't start the conversation, you're not going to help the next generation of people who are trying to make this world a safer place.
There's a lot that I'll take away. Yeah, it was powerful, moving. It's made me think about my personal experiences growing up and actually realised that maybe I was more affected by these things than I thought I was.
I don't know why we're out here like chatting about masculinity and being a man. We're humans. Do you know what I mean? Just like, act like a human. If you being a man sort of like doesn't like connect with like what you think it means to be a human, then you're like, you're on the wrong path. Do you know? And that's such a big part of it. Yeah.
Just want to give you a
hug.
hug.
Mate, yeah.
Back at EastEnders, the story moves on. It's Christmas already, but the Manosphere is still out there and its effects can reach us all. Meeting some of the people who have faced it will be something I never forget. As a parent of daughters, Roxy's story particularly struck me. I really want to meet her mum.
It was beyond my imagination that Rox would get coerced or blackmailed. But when we did finally speak about it, I realised that I had made a real error because I could talk to her about being a teenager. When she started going to parties, I could say, don't drink, don't take drugs. But God forbid, if anything happens to you or a friend of yours, you call me at 4 o'clock in the morning, you'll never get in trouble for making that phone call. But I never said it about the online world.
How important was it for Roxy to feel like it wasn't something that she had done? I mean, did she feel that way?
100% she thought it was all her fault. And it goes back to her being vulnerable at 13 in her room with her phone, wanting to belong. I know what happened to Roxy was extreme, but I think about all those teenagers sitting in their room with their phone. And we give our children phones because we want to keep them safe and we want to know where they are. But the moment we've given them a phone, we have absolutely no idea where they're going. I think probably the most important message for us as parents to tell our children that it's tough online. Their life is online. Their life is tougher now than it ever was for us. And although we won't understand everything necessarily, we're there for them if it goes wrong.
What we really hope is that our storyline, even in a little way, will start a conversation, because the boys who are getting into this are being sold a lie.
The Manosphere is a business model. Every click, every tap, every view is money in the pockets of those competing for our attention with ever more extreme content. I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but I have faith that in the end they'll be found out. And the more we talk, the quicker we'll get there.
Details of help and support with some of the issues raised in this episode are available at bbc.co.uk/actionline.